Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Zach, aka Keats39, here to bring you another NBA DFS slate. Um, another one of those really heavy injury slates, as it's always going to be to end this year. Um, I've tried to delay this as long as I could to try to get some news early, but we did not get that lucky. But a lot of them are in early games, so should be able to have news by then. But mainly going to just break down these injuries on this video. So first one's going to be the Pelicans game. We already know there's um, no Josh Hart, no doubtful for Kira Lewis. Um, then we have we know Lonzo is going to be in. Then you have uh, Steve Adams questionable. You have Brandon Ingram questionable. You have Zion Williamson questionable. So this it's really going to decide the slate as they get a really solid matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. Um, so we're just going to look at this from last game, where pretty much all those guys were missing. We saw Steve Adams play a lot of the first half, did not play much in the second half. So they came up with a weird starting lineup, played Jackson Hayes at the 4, which I thought was going to be really bad for DFS, but I was wrong. He's pretty active. He is an active player, but I didn't think his rebounding would be so great next to Steve Adams, but it was still fine. Even saw him shoot a couple of threes, which I did not even know he had in his repertoire. Uh, but looking at this, um, if Zion Williamson if Steve Adams were to miss, Willie Hernangomez would be a top play for me as a value guy. Played 26 minutes last game, 15 and 12 off the bench. Like if they don't have too many bodies, like he is really, really active. We all know that. Really good offensive player. Just a really good DFS player. I prefer him over Jackson Hayes. Anytime that Steve Adams misses, just because, well, usually Jackson Hayes will start, and he's one doesn't get the usage in the starting lineup. Um, Two, Willie Hernangomez is just a better DFS player. Um, so yeah, I usually prefer him if they were to miss. I like them more, especially if Zion were to miss. Because they might do the same thing. They might if Steve Adams were to miss and Zion, you might see Willie Hernangomez and Jackson Hayes start. I definitely would leave Willie Hernangomez in that situation. Um, if Zion misses, you're like these are the guys you're going to see. It's like Lonzo Ball is going to get some awesome usage. His price did increase after having a monster game last time out. I've no issue paying the salary for him if all those guys are out. Like he's just gonna like a lot of times this year he just kind of sits in the corner, unfortunately. But it's because they have a lot of solid offensive options. Definitely have a lot of interest, way more interest in him than Eric Bledsoe. I'm not an Eric Bledsoe fan, but he's going to be in play just because you're going to get a lot of minutes. And he does do stuff. If he gets involved in the defensive side, he does have a really solid ceiling. So like I can't knock the play. James Johnson has been awesome. He's been a solid player throughout his career for DFS. He's been awesome when he's had to play. Um, Definitely have a lot of interest there too. These guys off the bench, I don't really have too much interest. Like Iwundu and Marshall, if everyone misses, are in play. But it'll be interesting to see what they do if with no Kira Lewis. Like Lonzo and Eric Bledsoe are going to get a lot of minutes. Like I have a feeling that they're gonna have some of these guys active today. Like I don't know, just and all of them are going to be in play because even with them active, they're still going to be pretty short-handed. So yeah, the Pelicans are going to be a really really big decision point on this slate. And if they play if Zion were to play, I'd love him in this matchup. Same with Brandon Ingram, more so Zion, but yeah. So talk too much about that game. Probably we're gonna go over to the Pacers side. Brogdon and Sabonis are both questionable. Kind of feeling Brogdon will play. Don't think Sabonis plays. But if they both miss, like this is what you're gonna see. I love TJ McConnell, love Karis LeVert, and love Miles Turner. Um, it's not the minutes are a little inflated because of overtime. But yeah, so like Miles Turner, I every time that I didn't get to play him because all the last slate that these guys were on was like the bonkers one with so many injuries. Um, but Miles Turner, when he gets to play with no bonus, I love his numbers are all increased. Will be even more so if Malcolm Brogdon were to miss. Uh, you're gonna see it's a three-headed offense. With if that happens, you're gonna see McDermott is usually pretty active offensively. Like he cuts a lot. Like they make plays for him. So like I do think he's in play. They had some foul trouble last game, which has a lot to do with the minutes. Holiday's a corner sitter, but like he always seems to play well. I have no interest in him just because he does sit in the corners, but he's pretty efficient. Um, he does produce a lot in the defensive column. Don't have too much interest in Sumner. Like he's the last couple games he shot decent, which has got him the value. If Brogdon weren't missed, he's in play, but I prefer to go to the bench guy and TJ McConnell. Every time in the last 3 years, excuse me, that I've had the chance to play him, I play him. He's just so good. Produces in every category. No steals or blocks this one, but we all know his upside there. 5.3, like even off the bench, he's going to play 29 to 38 minutes. Like I've seen him like play. We've seen him play 47 minutes this year in a game that he started. So, like I don't expect that, but yeah. And then like so the starting unit, you're just going to see pick and roll after pick and roll with Levert. Kind of like what we saw at some points in his Brooklyn days when they were really banged up. Like that's what the Pacers are right now. They're really banged up. Um, uh, Jeremy Lamb is also never don't know if he's going to play. So yeah, I just think that those three, Karis LeVert, Miles Turner, TJ McConnell, are three of my favorite plays on the slate. And the final injury news, we had a preview of this yesterday. We'll look at the box score from this one. We already know that there's no Fred VanVleet or Kyle Lowry. I don't know what they're going to do starting lineup. I hate like we have Malachi Flynn was the best play yesterday. Then he doesn't start. Get off. Everyone gets off him, and he just goes absolutely insane. Of course, with the fourth steals, 3 blocks, which is always frustrating. But yeah, so after the game, Nick Nurse said that he didn't start Flynn because of Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. They didn't want to throw him out there to the Wolves like that. But he gave him starter minutes. He mentioned that. He does not have to worry about that tonight. Going in with a much easier matchup. I don't know if Bembry played really solid minutes too, so I kind of think they go back to him, keep him starting. But it'll be interesting to see. I like both as Bembry if he starts, it's going to be Chalky's playing the slate or one of them. Minimum price. Had a really good game yesterday. It's kind of hard to fade him at 3K. Malachi Flynn went up to 3.9, and I still think he's a really solid value play. I still think he's going to see over 30 minutes. Like him a lot. So the only guy I really don't like is Chris Boucher. Like I really like Pascal Siakam. Really like Anunoby. I don't like Gary Trent that much. I think he's fine, but he's got to score like 28 real points to really like do much. So he's a scorer, doesn't do too much else. But everyone else, I think, and for Boucher, I just don't like playing guys against Marc Gasol, especially because Boucher, they don't really want to like unleash him. It's not a great matchup, and they don't want to unleash him. And him and Baines can kind of keep splitting minutes. I would expect a little more minutes out of him. But he's still a fine play. Like he got a lot of shots, but he was just bad yesterday. That's probably why it's 20 and 21 minutes. Like I'd expect 28 from Boucher. Yeah. So and then like everyone was just bad for him yesterday. Like maybe they'll lower ownership. Who knows? But I'm going right back to the well. You're just going to see these guys play really heavy minutes. OG 38, Pascal 36, and they all like no one you're scared of. Like you're not scared of Markieff Morris anymore. You're not definitely not scared of Kyle Kuzma. You're not scared of Dennis Schroeder on defense. I just think that it's a good matchup for them to take advantage of. So those are the three teams that you're really paying a lot of attention to tonight. And there's also obviously some other one-offs. Like if DeJounte Murray misses again, you're going to like guys like Derek White, Patty Mills, DeMar DeRozan. So very injury-heavy slate as they always seem to be anymore. So make sure that you are around for a lock to get all these news. And a lot of them are from 7 and 7:30 games, so should have them without worrying too much. So that's going to do it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all tonight. Later.